Madison Panthers, welcome to your next Art Smart lesson. Today our artwork is inspired by Grant Wood. Have you ever heard of him? Well, Grant Wood was born in Stone City, Iowa in 1930. Grant grew up on a farm and loved drawing from a very young age. He even traveled to Europe to study some of the most well-known Impressionist artists. But eventually he returned back to Iowa, where he taught in a one-room schoolhouse, and he is most well known for painting farm scenes and common Midwestern American people. Let's take a look at some of his artwork. His most popular artwork by far is this one, American Gothic. He actually had his dentist and his sister pose for the painting. When Grant Wood painted this picture, he wanted to portray the everyday, wholesome values that people in the Midwest had. Today, we'll be mostly looking at his landscape work. This first one is called Fall Plowing, which he painted in 1931. Next, we have a painting entitled Young Corn he painted in 1931. If any of you have ever seen a hayfield, you might recognize this one. This one is called Haying, and it's from 1939. This painting is called New Road and was painted also in 1939. This painting is of the one-room schoolhouse he taught on, and it's entitled Arbor Day. This painting was selected and featured on the Iowa Quarter that came out in 2004. Now, since you go to school at Madison, I imagine you have driven past quite a few fields. The fields around us can look different depending on what time of year it is. Is it fall and they've just been harvested? Is it spring and they've just been planted? Or is it summer and the corn is above your head? So we don't have to look very far for the inspiration for our painting today. The supplies you will need is paper. I prefer to use graph paper when I do this project. You will also, of course, need your oil pastels. I prefer to draw this in a black marker. You may want to draw it in pencil first and then go over it in black marker. If you draw the first time in pencil, remember, don't add too many details on this stage and draw lightly. Okay, let's get started drawing. I'm going to just go ahead and start with a marker. First, I'm going to draw one big hill and a fence at the front of my farmland. Remember, this video is sped up 4 times the normal speed. You do not need to draw this fast. On my hill, I've drawn a farmhouse and a barn. I'm then going to add a second hill for the second field. I'm going to put a tractor on that. And I'm going to draw a third hill to represent our third field, and I'm going to put a windmill on that. And then I'm going to add some details to the sky. You can make your farmhouse, your barn, any of the tractor, windmill, clouds, accessories look however you want. But it is important that we all have our 3 levels of ground or fields. The first field is just a pasture or a grassy hill that the barn is on. So I'm going to get out my 3 colors of green, and starting with the lightest color at the top where the sun would shine the brightest, I'm going to go light up there, go darker for the middle, and the darkest color of green at the bottom. Now, we've been blending oil pastels all school year. So remember, go back over it with the lightest color to give it a smooth, blended look. You get to use your own imagination and think of fields you've seen, but for my second field, I decided to go with a just plowed field like you might see in the fall. So I used some dark brown for some dirt furrows, and I filled it in with a medium brown. And then to blend this field, I'm going to go over it with that goldish brown color that's in our kit. And there we have a just plowed field. Now my tractor is driving on it, but I'm not very good at drawing plows, so I just chose to put a wagon behind my tractor, even though this field was just plowed. For my third field, I was inspired by amber waves of grain. So I just picked out some yellow and gold colors, and I drew some lines, and I tried to just blend it nice, like a wheat field sort of blowing in the breeze. So you can do your 3 fields however you'd like, but it is more fun if they're each different. Then you can move on to your sky, and you're just going to want a light blue and a dark blue. Color them in lightly, and then go back over it with the lightest color to blend them. So there we have our 4 levels, our 3 fields and our sky. After that, you can use your oil pastels, or you can even just use crayons to color in your accessories, your barn, your house, your tractor, your sun. I used white to go over the clouds and to go over my fence so that the graph paper didn't show through. I like to use the graph paper just because it helps me stay level and keep straight lines for my houses and my fence. Here is my finished project. It looks like a nice, happy, busy farm. I hope yours turns out like this, and thank you, Grant Wood, for the inspiration.